more secure.
Thank you. For Mr. Pomerak, your contribution to Project 2025 focuses on foreign assistance role
This
to
is the
counter
drilling of the
PRC efforts.
USAID shit.
Now, despite the fraud, waste, and abuse,
First off, if you ain't never seen no crooked politician, if you don't know how a crooked politician work, I feel like that you should take a viewpoint from learning from your mistakes or learning from these people on what not to do. Now, when they bring up this USAID, it's the same thing connected with this DEI higher shit. It's not people that's like us. It's not people that's black pertaining to. Though they say it's pertaining to us, it's not. It's for people of many different races and origins. You know, like African, Indian, things like that, in that nature, and it's for that community. You know, that rainbow community. I'll say. You know, those are the people that benefit from this shit. Those are the type of countries that accept it that benefit from this shit. So when you see they say money spent, it's been sent to this country for this reason. That is the fucking reason. Corruption, confusion, diffusion, start tension, all that shit. They was not only doing it here, but doing it in other countries. And making earning extra money off of it as well. But what I'm happy to see finally is motherfuckers getting grilled for they fuck ups and knowing when they fucking wrong or they did some crooked shit. And I feel like they should be handled and prosecuted to the highest extent. Okay, not the lowest, the highest. Don't fuck around with them. Okay. Don't take it easy on them because they politicians. They still did corruptions. Okay? So we gonna tune into this and y'all just tell me, like, drop in the comments, share this video, hit that like button if you're tuning in. I'm your host. Yeah, let's continue.
I think it was in October. And we talked to my
others do.
Okay. Is it a private firm or is it a government entity?
It's a government entity, and the people working for it are government approved.
It was formed by who?
The President of the United States.
And how is it funded?
I understand that most are working for free, but any other
Tax Act knows taxes can be confusing. So we've got experts, live human experts, to talk to if you
close working relationship with the organization. And how many years have you worked in foreign affairs?
I just like breaking shit down, so that's why I'm here.
About 35 years, different capacities from NGOs, as a contractor, State Department, working for the office or for the Vice President, and also directly with USAID.
Is there anything that a 19-year-old could tell you about USAID that you don't understand from your years of experience?
My understanding is that they're technical staff.
Can any of those 19-year-olds teach you something that you don't understand about USAID?
In terms of anything to do with data overview and looking at things, I'm just clueless. Sorry.
Okay, well, thank you so much. I think it, and for the record, I'd like it to be clear that you and I would probably have a difference of opinion on what diversity means. In this African American History Month, Mr. Frederick Douglass, I had written an article and a speech regarding composite nation, that this is a land of many different cultures, races, ethnicities that have all come to call this great land home. And if we're looking at the future of Africa in the year 2050, being 1 in 4 humans.
Nigga, we don't care about no damn Africa.
A push for a cultural
That's the problem.
diversity, expanding how we reach out to people. And so when we talk about America,
we got Uncle Tom motherfuckers like you that's telling people where they came from.
Not one member on this panel has had anything to say or do with the cuts of food. And it'll also be entered into the record at this moment.
Can't stand Uncle Tom.
The irony of the richest man on earth taking food away from the poorest humans on this earth. But it also be entered into the record that the most powerful man on earth is denying food.
Hold on, I just wanted to correct this idiot, because what the fuck is we talking about? Yeah, roast his Mr. Potato Head ass. He gotta get it. You saying all these people are suffering, yet Where's the money going to? When y'all get these monies and y'all say that y'all trying to feed these people and get them meals, when you check the stats, the meals don't even add up for the money that you fucking got it for, bro. Somebody fucking lying. And this is why Trump and them is cleaning up house, getting y'all motherfuckers out of there. Not only that, you will be prosecuted if your ass is found guilty, bro. So if you do that quiver lip all the fuck you want to, bro, something don't smell right. Representative Jackson.
Assistance,
The
medical
fuck?
assistance, malaria vaccinations to the poorest people on earth. We don't need to operate in this chaotic manner. I would like to ask
Chaotic.
Mr. Natsios, how should this project work? How should it be convened today that would make this more productive?
Mm-mm-mm. You can't get no more
I think this
unconfined
is
than that.
a more radical proposal, but I had proposed this in Foreign Affairs some years ago. I think we need to consolidate the MCC,
Y'all want me to make it bigger? Hold on.
DFC, AID, and a couple of the foreign aid parts of the State Department into one
I'm
department
finna grill some shit.
and raise the visibility and integrate the programs more. I don't think, for example, there'd be a representative for the DFC and the MCC in each country that they work in. They can have the aid mission do that. They could be an integrated mission for all of these purposes. There are countries where there's CDC and AID running the same program, PEPFAR. It's never been corrected. Frankly, they fight with each other. It's embarrassing and it's duplicative, and there's no need for it. I think they should put one agency in charge of the whole thing, and that's it. That's what happened with the malaria program, and it's worked very well. The third thing I would do is decentralize. Now, with what's going on now, no one will agree to this, but the literature on bureaucratic processes, James Q. Wilson, my favorite writer, who's, by the way, a conservative, he says decentralize every administrative function at the lowest level where people have knowledge of what's going on. You have to have oversight in Washington, but AID during the Cold War was the most decentralized agency, and it drove the Russians crazy because the mission directors and the ambassadors could be responsive to the local president, the local prime minister, and that's one of the reasons we won the Cold War. We helped win the Cold War through AID because we were highly decentralized and very responsive. Right now, there are 275 earmarks in AID. We tell the country, but because we don't have any choice. The whole there's no flexibility. The budget.
You ain't saying shit, bro. It still gotta go.
Thank you, gentlemen, and I yield back.
Thank you, Representative Jackson. I would wonder how many transgender operas they funded during the Cold War. Not many. Chair now recognizes Representative Biggs from South Carolina.
Yo,
Mr. Chairman, I appreciate your efforts in organizing
uppercut.
this important hearing, and thank you to our witnesses for your testimonies today.
These
today's
Democrats so
hearing has
mad,
provided a
man.
target-rich environment
They
of
fucking with
examples
their
of
money.
funding allocations that, while perhaps they were intended for worthy causes, in my opinion, they raise serious questions about our priorities and where our focus truly lies. These include, we've mentioned many, but just to name a couple others, 3.3 million for being LGBTQ in the Caribbean, and 37.6 million for sex workers, their clients, and transgender individuals in South Africa.
Are you fucking kidding
While I
me?
acknowledge
They was
the
paying for
complex global
strippers.
changes USAID
Hold the fuck.
seeks to address,
Hold the fuck up. Hold the fuck up. I know she didn't just say what she just said. So you mean tell me our taxpayer dollars is going for our government to pay for strippers and HOE? Man, look. Somebody gotta go.
we must ask a fundamental
Somebody gotta go.
question. Are we truly
All of them.
fulfilling our responsibility to the American people when we allocate tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars for programs abroad while neglecting critical, yes, I said critical needs right here at home, just like districts in South Carolina's 3rd District, which I represent.
Okay. Shout out to South Carolina.
I struggle to explain to veterans in Newberry County who's fighting to find a
Representative
job
Biggs.
why our resources are directed overseas to programs that don't enhance our national security instead of supporting his career prospects. We've mentioned healthcare, I watched a veteran with his face in his hands sobbing
Damn shame.
because he couldn't get healthcare needs met. We talked about the mental health
But
needs
the migrants getting
that he couldn't
assistance.
get met. And he said to me, I feel like I'm a hamster in a wheel. I can't get out of the process.
A veteran. That's a damn shame.
I find it difficult to justify the families in Greenwood that are facing mounting medical bills while resources are being spent on programs abroad.
Stupid
When those
shit.
funds could expand access to vital healthcare services in their own community. I question how we can prioritize funding initiatives overseas, when we have cybersecurity vulnerabilities in Anderson County that threaten local businesses and critical infrastructure. For those of us who are guided by Christian values, the principle of charity begins at home. It resonates strongly with me. While we are called to care for all of God's children, there is also a natural and an understandable inclination to prioritize the needs of our immediate community, our fellow citizens, and those within our own nation. Let me be very clear. This is not
We gotta
about
worry
abandoning
about
our global
us.
responsibilities. It's about investing in the very foundation of our nation, our communities, our families, and our future. It's about ensuring that the hardworking people of South Carolina's 3rd District and all across the nation are not left behind while resources are directed to woke programs that do not advance American interest. So my question to our
Speak on
witnesses
it.
is very simple. What went wrong and why did the oversight measures fail to prevent taxpayer money from being spent on wasteful programs that
Speak
don't
on
put America first?
Accountability and transparency, and it's this body, and I was a part of this body. We didn't do our job. That's what I feel.
At least he admitted it.
Do something. We hear the IG reports. This person that got fired, he got fired. He was the IG, made a report, gets fired. There's an IG report every year. We don't act, and if we don't act, this is what happens. We complain about everything that's bad, and then we don't act, and then when somebody like Trump comes in, and there'll be somebody after that. And when they come in and they do this, we get upset. We've got to fix Congress.
Get their ass, bro. Line them up.
I would also add that what I've
He
seen
was
over the
honest
past
with it.
25 years is the progressive left has gradually just seized control over the entire foreign aid industrial complex. And that's something the political sociology of the industry has to be changed. If we're not, otherwise we're going to have the same vicious circle occur again and again.
Thank you.
Just let me add, there's a large number of Mormons at AID. I've never met a communist Mormon before. There aren't any that I know of.
Oh,
I
boy.
don't theologically agree with them, but I have great respect for the Mormons. There's a very large number of practicing Catholics in the ID and evangelical. And there's a large number, as I said earlier today,
That's the damn problem.
of missionary kids who were, why? Because they speak the languages of the countries they were brought up in. And they make wonderful foreign service officers, and many of them have risen to the senior levels of the agency. Is there a contingent of younger,
Blah,
very
blah, 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 blah.
liberal? Yes, there are. But it's very
Nobody
mixed.
that's from America he's speaking of.
And my experience in the agency, maybe it's changed, is that when you ask officers to do something, they do it. I didn't used to have to ask their backgrounds. I just said, I want this done. And if they didn't do it, I would take action. I actually fired 16 senior people when I was in office.
Thank you, Mr.
Three of them were
Hodges.
political.
Gentlemen,
Born as
space time
fuck.
is expired. Even if they're Catholic, if they're doing LGBTQ musicals in Ireland, their time is coming to an end.
That shit
Chair now
gotta
recognizes
stop. Fuck you
Representative
talking
Connolly.
about?
Thank you.
Ooh, they grilling their
And that's Ted. Welcome back.
They say
It's good to
even
see
if
you.
they Catholic, they doing LGBT
Natsios.
stuff. They gotta stop.
When you were a administrator, did you oversee an agency that was rife with LGBTQ dances in Ireland and, I don't know, condoms to the tune of 2 million in Gaza?
It was
and
more
all
than that. It was
kinds
50 million.
of iffy, marginal,
50
flaky,
million. Get it right.
projects that were funded with U.S. taxpayer money bringing dishonor to the United States of America. Would that be a fair characterization of AID from your point of view?
Well, it certainly wasn't when I was there. And I don't think it is now myself, but I do think
He know.
there are programs that I saw on the list that
He
I would
getting a check.
not have allowed in my.
Well, let's stipulate
He getting a piece of
that,
the pie.
but let's not let that characterize AID, because all of us are losers if that succeeds, it seems to me. Global health.
You know what's
What
going on, bro.
percentage of AID's work would fall under the rubric of global health?
Let me just say something real quick, because I don't think y'all understand. Okay. Damn, what happened? A lot of this shit that you seeing and these people that speaking, they trying to cover their ass too because they know they fucked up. So don't believe everything you fucking hear. Okay. Look, pay attention to the people that you see that's doing like awfully weird shit. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Oh shit. My bad. Yeah, because I'm with them. This shit gotta stop. There's too much corruption going on in this government. And they're just getting away with it. Nobody's doing anything to stop it. Not since Trump and Elon. They're not going for that shit. They're not going for that shit at all. So the choice is yours. Either you're gonna get down, in the words of Beatty Siegel, or shit.
When you were a administrator, did you
When you are on your administrator, I think he had some. It's something he know. He Democratic too. It's something he know that's going on with this USAID or some shit. He playing slow like he don't understand, like he don't know. It be the ones that's older that's been in these places that hold these positions that really be knowing what the fuck is going on. They the head honcho. They get to cut out of everything. So yeah, pay attention to shit like that.
when you were a administrator, did you
Now my shit moving slowly.
when you were a administrator, did you
Damn, what's going on? What's to it? This is how y'all playing me? What's that? Okay, I think we got it. I don't know what the fuck going on. My bad for the technical difficulties.
Like that was proposed by the Trump administration for the Department of Education. Does that have to come to Congress?
Certainly, there are departments that I believe that are in the Department
Who
of
the
Education by
hell?
statute, and those have to be looked at.
And what,
Could they-
what,
could they
what,
be moved?
what elements of the Department of Education are those that are protected by statute?
I believe IDEA is. I think Title I is.
Girl,
And I'd like
they
to.
ass.
IDEA is. I think Title I is. And I'd like to discuss that, look into it, and discuss it more fully with you.
But for those that are not codified by statute, you're saying those are the ones that the executive branch can do as they please.
Well, I think that I would like to look into that more.
Wait, this not
Why I
the
kind of
one
mentioned this as
looking
well
for.
was that, just in the first couple of weeks here, we had a lot of conversation about the
This doesn't look
the
right.
surge.
Yeah, because I want to see motherfuckers get grilled, man. There's a lot going on right now.
Policy, and that's the spoils of winning an election. But they should also focus on what's best for America instead of what's best for a party. And until we do that, we're going to go back and forth on this, and it's up to us and, of course, the American people.
And so, how would you, if you were structuring this legislatively and making sure it's bipartisan solutions that's consistent over time, how would you structure that under your best vision?
I think it's just getting consensus and building a bipartisan movement in this. And you've got a great opportunity. You've got this Congress has an opportunity you haven't had in over 40 years with the Supreme Court ruling on the Chevron deference case. The Chevron deference, when that came into effect, allowed the administrative agencies to have all this power. All right, that's been repealed. Congress can go ahead and move forward and say, this is what an agency may do. This is what they shall not do. And if we don't do that in a bipartisan way, it's going to go right back to these agencies, and Congress has allowed their powers to be usurped again by administrative agencies. And you have administrative law.
And doing that and constructing it, how do we ensure that taxpayer-funded aid does not fall into the hands of corrupt governments, terrorist organizations, or entities that are hostile to U.S. interests? Mr. Yoho.
Define the mission of what you want, and then you have to have that oversight. As Mr. Nazio brought up, you got to approve these things, and you have to have it done now. And I think there should be an immediate review after this stuff. With every when you send out a check, you want to get it back. The IRS makes us do that to be accountable for our taxes, and I think we should do the same thing in government programs.
Thank you, Mr. Yoho. Yield back my time.
Could I just add one thing in terms of
Gentlemen's
suggestions?
time is expired, so maybe in another round. Thank you. Thank the gentleman from New Jersey. Representative McBride is now recognized.
He the only
Thank you,
one being
Chairman.
honest.
It's a privilege to serve on this
Everybody
committee
else lying their ass off.
and ranking member me.
Hold on. He the only one who being honest.
It's also an honor to be here for my first Foreign Affairs Committee hearing. I am looking forward to working alongside each and every one of you in a bipartisan manner in support of U.S. interests. Unfortunately, right now, we are seeing a partisan attack on
Look at her.
USAID, one of the most effective tools of American leadership and our national security.
Look at her.
By gutting this agency, President Trump is not just turning his back on our global commitments. He's undermining American interests and our security.
She one of those
And he is
ones
causing unnecessary deaths.
that supported that
If President Trump can get away with gutting USAID, he can do it
foreign
anywhere.
surgeries.
That means that no part.
We're seeing
Yeah,
common people
something
around
don't
the world
smell
becoming
right.
supernatural when they follow this formula.
I don't like it.
And the majority conference in this House are fostering opposition to vital government programs by mischaracterizing characterizing diversity efforts and using it as a Trojan horse to gut programs
Oh,
that all Americans rely on.
not a Trojan horse. No.
This hearing is titled USAID Betrayal, but let's be clear. The real betrayal is that Donald Trump promised to lower costs facing families, but instead is pursuing policies that threaten American jobs and increase costs for workers.
Typical liberal.
Foreign aid is not a charity. It's an investment in stability, security, global health, economic security, American leadership, and American jobs. USAID buys food from farmers in Delaware to help prevent famine and conflict abroad.
What does it do with the money, though? You keep saying what it does, but there's no progress being shown of what the USAID does. Nobody is getting what the fuck y'all say that they getting. The money is being taken. The money is not being found. It's some shit. You know who getting it? The people in other countries. They benefiting from that shit. But they not benefiting like y'all say y'all is, because y'all still getting a cut out of it. There's some illegal, crooked shit going on. And it got to be exposed for what it is. And it has to be looked into. And it should have been being checked. Y'all mad because y'all getting checked and y'all ducks ain't in order. And y'all shit ain't in line. And you want to prepare for this. Guess what? You ain't going to be really prepared for what happened after that.
USAID funds over $1 million of critical research at the University of Delaware on both energy and poultry production. USAID collaborates with Delaware's businesses to expand agriculture in places like Ukraine. These
See what I
cuts,
mean?
this effort to decimate USAID doesn't just hurt people in distant countries, it hurts Delawareans.
It's
So my first
USAID.
question
It's
for
supposed to be
you,
for the
Mr.
US, ma'am.
Natsios. I want to talk about everyone's favorite topic. It may
It's
have
supposed to be for the US, ma'am, not other countries. USAID, USA, aid to us, US, America. Why are you speaking on other fucking foreign countries? This is the problem. Who gave her this position?
come up already.
The fuck?
Egg prices.
Here we go with the
The
eggs.
reason for rising costs is the spread of bird flu. Yeah, this administration has
And let's not fucking forget, allegedly, it was Biden that literally, we're going to say unalive, a lot of chickens, factories was burnt down. I remember it was a big ass factory. It was a chicken factory in Minnesota that got burnt down. Well, that was one of the biggest chicken eggs importers. Okay. I don't even know if they rebuilt that shit. I think it got burnt down and that was that. So let's talk about the facts now. Don't be coming up here making antics because you will get auto-corrected. Okay? Because that's what y'all like to do. Y'all like to talk that shit and make everything sound so good. But you don't come with any facts. You come with lies. And you make these lies sound good. This is why a lot of people fall for it. But if they actually go check and do the research, it's not going to be accurate to what you're saying. I hope somebody correct her.
stopped monitoring bird flu in 49 countries, increasing the risk of it spreading to the U.S. and decimating our poultry industry, the cornerstone of Delaware's economy. With USAID halting its efforts on bird flu, I'm curious what you believe could be the impact on egg prices and also, of course, the health of Americans.
Well, I have said before that I think the 80 USAID missions that used to exist are our frontline defense for infectious disease generally, and I'm now convinced by Dr. Yoho that we should add in animal disease, zoonotic diseases. It's not that have jumped to humans, although that's a huge problem, but just that are in the animal kingdom because it affects our domesticated population of animals in the United States, whose food supply is critical to our health in the United States. So, and I might add to the developing world as well. We have had some very successful programs over the years to eliminate these zoonotic diseases in Africa and Central America, Mexico, and I think we should revive those. I know when Bush was president that they monitored all birds dying in Alaska because there's billions of birds, and we used to test for virus. No, I didn't, but I think USDA tested them for viruses to see if bird flu was in the flocks, and then try to take action. So I think early warning systems in all areas are extremely important so we can do work to protect the American people. But we'd also, at the same time, be protecting people in the developing world.
One quick question, because we've heard commentary about, quote, fringe programs at USAID. You acknowledge that there are programs at USAID now that you might not have approved in the past. I think we've already seen that there have been most gross mischaracterizations of programs, that there have been outright mistruths said about USAID programs right now, and that many of the most outrageous that we're hearing turn out to be accurate. And I'm
That's
running out of time, but
true.
you led USAID when PEPFAR was created under President Bush. I'm curious if you believe that there are elements of PEPFAR which have saved 25 million lives globally, but there are elements of PEPFAR that could be mischaracterized and sound a bit
Here we go.
outrageous.
I suppose they actually wanted to include more local input into how they structured and how we structured the program.
They working together as a fucking team. He's not saying shit. He's speaking on shit that don't even fucking have. Maybe it was a part of the USAID, but it don't have no fucking initiative. What's going on now? And for this lady to sit her ass up here and say that people are lying and making shit extreme when the shit is literally there, the money is not there to support or back what y'all saying that it's going to. And not only that, the people that's getting these funds, they're not even getting all the fucking funds. I hope a lot of you motherfuckers be in orange jumpsuits. That's sad. That's fucking sad. If you to sit there and lie like that, it's crazy.
Because it's very standardized. And I'm not into central standardization in aid programs. I'm a decentralist. I guess I'm a federalist, you'd say.
No morals
And
at
I believe
all.
all development is local, and that we should allow the countries more discretion as to how we structure the PEPFAR program. But I lost that battle 25 years ago, 23 years ago. If it were reauthorized, I'd add a lot more local discretion in terms of structuring the program.
Representative's time has expired. Chair now
Blah,
recognizes
blah,
Representative
blah,
Radley.
blah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Somebody need to grill these liberals, man. They need to come out with the facts. I'm tired of them saying that this shit is not happening. They know damn well all this funding and aid that y'all keep saying is going to these places ain't really going to these places. Y'all taking y'all pocketing shit. It's a lot of corruption going on. I mean, some of these places are receiving the funds, but the shit that they're receiving funds for is like, what the fuck? Our taxpayer dollars is really paying for this stupid shit? And we just supposed to go along with it? Y'all got caught. Y'all got busted.
I want to thank the three of you for testifying today. Congressman Yoho, it's good to see you. I want to thank you for all the good things that you've done in the region. You've been a true friend of the Pacific.
Okay, she look Hawaiian. So we got Ray DeWise, representative. I don't know. She look like she from Hawaii. I see the flower in her head. She look kind of Samoan. And she look like she give you one that little necklace.
In the past 2 weeks, independent Samoa and the Cook Islands have signed deals with the PRC. With Kiribati to the north, independent Samoa to the west, the Cook Islands to our east, my home district of American Samoa is now surrounded on three sides by China-friendly nations. I have a couple of questions. During the Trump administration and the Biden administration, the State Department and USAID proposed that USAID take over and manage U.S. economic assistance and federal programs and services to the three strategically vital Compact of Free Association allies, namely Palau, Marshall Islands, and Micronesia. We have made sure that was rejected because Congress has been providing all such assistance to those strategic partner island people through Interior Department since 1961, including under COFA since 1986. Now that assistance is appropriated so that Interior continues to actually administer these funds and programs under COFA for the next 20 years at least, and that will continue until Congress changes it. The state and those who have or will be exercising USAID authorities understand that COFA economic assistance is not discretionary grants, but usually agreed to obligations that secure the highest level of strategic interests of the U.S. in the Pacific? Mr. Natsios? Anyone of you are free to answer. Turn your mic on, please.
Could you just repeat it? I couldn't
I
quite
don't
hear
think they
you.
understand. I don't even think they
Question.
understood what the fuck she was saying.
I'm running out of time now. I don't know whether the chairman will let me roll that back a bit. During the Trump administration and the Biden administration, the State Department and USAID proposed that USAID take over and manage U.S. economic assistance and federal programs and services to the three
Help her,
strategically vital
please. Help her,
compact
please.
free association allies, namely Palau, Marshall Islands, and Micronesia. We made sure that was rejected because Congress has been providing all such assistance to those strategic partner island people through Interior Department since 1961, including under COFA since 1986. Now that assistance is appropriated so that Interior continues to actually administer these funds and programs under COFA for the next 20 years at least, and that'll continue until Congress changes it. Does state and those who have or will be exercising U.S. aid authorities understand that COFA economic assistance is not discretionary grants, but usually agreed of obligations that secure the highest level of strategic interest of U.S. in the Pacific?
Congresswoman, I don't know a lot about how the program works now, so I don't want to render a judgment. I would have some outside group that all of you agree to evaluate the Interior program, and then
And he the head honcho. How the fuck he don't know how the program was ran? Like, what the fuck is going on?
idea how it might change it, and then you decide. But I wouldn't dismiss AID, but if you are really devoted to the Interior option, then you keep it.
Thank you. My time is so brief, and you had me repeat a long question.
I'm sorry.
Congressman Yoho?
Same question.
Yes.
The compact has worked pretty well, and I think you guys vote on it and you just determine your destiny of what you want to do. I would use USAID or whatever entity comes back as a facilitator, but I would certainly engage DFC, MCC to do those structural projects that you need that really boost your economy down there.
Do you think with the reforms for traditional USAID foreign assistance now underway, that the role of agencies like the U.S. government's Development and Finance Corporation that was mentioned earlier will become more important as instruments of U.S. foreign relations, or do DFC and similar agencies that harness private sector investment also need to be reformed? DFC was modeled after the Marshall Plan, which creates jobs in the private sector overseas instead of handing out grants. That can create markets for U.S. exports.
Sure.
So while we're promoting foreign investment in the U.S., should we also be promoting U.S. investment overseas to create jobs back here at home? What direction are we headed in this regard?
It's imperative that we do that. We need to revamp the reauthorization of the DFC. And if you look at post-World War II, if we did not come in there with a Marshall Plan or something like that, would Germany, Japan, Vietnam, South Korea, and the other countries that benefited from that, would they be in our top 20 trading partners? And if we didn't do that, who would have been in there to do that? It's either going to be our influence with our values, or it's going to be the other people, and we don't want they're authoritarian, and it'll be a disaster for the world. Liberty and freedom will go away.
Mr. Primorak, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Communist China cannot compete with our private sector. It's massive. When you include our allies in Japan and elsewhere, it's overwhelming. China cannot come close. So DFC as that tool to be able to bring in that kind of capital power, I think is a perfect solution. Thank you.
Mr. Natsios? Oh, Congressman? Do you have anything to add, Mr. Natsios?
Gentlelady's time has expired. Gentlelady's time has expired.
Mr.
Gentlelady's time has expired.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, can we get a bathroom break?
Can you hold it?
Too many old motherfuckers just on one fucking. This shit is so boring.
Or 70 plus.
Can you hold it for two individuals or no?
I'm going to remind you that when you're 70.
I ask in seriousness, can you hold it for two individuals or no? If you can't, I'm happy to give you a restroom break. I want you to be able to concentrate on answering to our representatives. I don't want anybody to say you were distracted. So, all right, we will continue. We will muster on once more into the breach, dear friend. Chair now recognizes
That nigga got bladder problems.
Representative Luna.
Chairman, for the record, I'd like to submit this letter saying that PEPFAR funding was actually resumed. I know there's been a lot of push saying that the Trump admin had actually cut it, but
So ordered.
thank you. You know, I want to start up by saying initially, I think the idea behind USAID was done with a good intention. However, we've come to find out that the agency has indeed, to a certain extent, operated in a rogue capacity. And USAID has absolutely broken the trust with the American people and not been transparent about where our taxpayer dollars are going.
Facts.
There's an individual by the name of Mike Benz. He actually served over at the State Department for a while, and he's been going on to expose a lot of what USAID has been doing, which, being a member of oversight and being on this committee, I wanted to verify and see if he was telling the truth, which
Now, when you have a whistleblower and it's somebody within and they exposing shit can get hectic. So this might get a little serious right now. She coming with some fucking exposing.
much to my disappointment, he was. And I say that because I'm disappointed that our taxpayer dollars are funding some of these items. I mean, to just put this in perspective, in 2021, the Special Operations Command under Mark Milley, as chairman of the Joint Chiefs, put out an instruction manual, a vision for 2021 and beyond, that contained instructions and examples on how the military could work with the State Department, Intel Services, and USAID using race riots. Here's examples of some of the instruction manuals here, 1 and 2, in order to destabilize nations. In addition to that, they advocated for setting up job fairs near some of these riots so that disaffected workers could gain employment. Now, as a member of Congress, I ask myself, did anyone in USAID get elected to Congress? How about to a presidency? When you are acting in the shadows and you are destabilizing nations using race wars to do it and then advocating that the military does it, in my opinion, not only do you put the future generations that would have to fight in those wars in jeopardy, but at the end of the day, you're operating without any oversight. So I guess the question for you guys is, Mr. Natsios, is that something that you were aware of? Are you aware that that instruction manual is being promoted not just with the military under Milley, but that USAID may be operating in this capacity? Because in my opinion, and I'm sure I speak on behalf of many of my constituents, I don't think that's where our taxpayer dollars need to be going.
Damn, so they spending money to start fucking race war. Ooh, she calling that shit out. Exposure, I'm telling you.
Well, I completely agree with you. I personally doubt very much that what you've been told is accurate. But let me just
I'm telling you right now, I brought the receipts. Okay. And the reason I'm not trying to argue with you, but I find this disturbing on so many capacities. And I would like to also just, if I can, sir, Mike Benz, what he's exposing and bringing receipts, I've confirmed it. Thank you for doing that on behalf of the American people, because I understand that when you take on the intelligence agencies, we're also now finding that apparently in this manual that they're also advocating for social media campaigns, illuminating controversy to a global audience. I mean, using disinformation campaigns. Is this happening here in our own country? Where's the oversight?
Just to ask you, who in the agency, what bureau?
I just said you can actually find that instruction in this manual that Milley approved. Yes, but Milley approved it. You have it right here. USAID working with government agencies. I mean, this is not.
Wait a second. Did AID say that, or did the military say?
Well, that would be the question for you, sir.
Well, I mean,
these operations. Sorry to interrupt you. These operations that are taking place without government oversight, without the authority of the president.
Told y'all he know what the fuck going on. He just playing stupid. That's what they do. When they just head honcho and the chairmen and shit, they know exactly what the fuck going on. They just play stupid, bad eye, like they don't know what the fuck going on, clueless. Trying to protect their ass. That's what they do.
without the authority of Congress. Real men and women serve and they die because of stuff like this. When you destabilize nations without any oversight, we have to fight those wars. You have our chairman right here that literally risked his life. No, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm frustrated. I know it's not necessarily your
But I'm
fault,
telling you,
but
that's
as a head of
nonsense.
agency, that's
I'm
not.
telling what Ben's told you is nonsense.
That's not nonsense. These are the information and
AID
forms. And
didn't write
Ben's
that.
put this out to the American
AID
people.
did not write that,
Sir, I
Congresswoman.
disagree with you on so many levels.
Look at how mad he getting though. You could just tell they guilty. That shit gotta
And I
go.
appreciate you being here
How do
today
you
because
know
this
they
is not
wrote it?
easy. How do I know what?
That any person can write AID's name into a manual. It goes on all
Sir,
the time.
they are advocating that the U.S. military
Not
work
the-
with
not
taxpayer funded State
AID.
Department USAID funds to destabilize nations. That is
Someone in
unacceptable.
special-
I don't care who wrote it. USAID needs to come down and condemn it. They need to provide oversight to Congress on exactly where our tax dollars are going. And I know I might be at 17 seconds with our time, but sir, I hope that you agree. Can I, yes or no, do you agree that this is wrong? Period.
I
Should
think
this
the
be happening?
military should be held accountable. I think it's
And should
nonsense.
USAID condemn it?
Nonsense to
Should
suggest that
USAID
AID
condemn
wrote
it?
that.
Should they condemn it?
The military should.
Should USAID also condemn this?
Of course, we don't
Thank you.
comment. AID
Chairman, I
does
yield
not
my time.
comment on military
Thank you,
manuals.
sir.
Ladies,
It's
time's
none of our
expired.
business.
She killed.
Since there have been a couple more members that have shown
she
up,
murder. She wrote.
I promise you only two. Let's
Murder,
do the
she
5-minute restroom
wrote.
break. He's staying in recess for 5 minutes.
Murder. She wrote. Murder. She wrote. Murder them. Murder. Blood. Murder them. They all liberals. Even the chairman. Look at him. He's a liberal too. You got Uncle Tom sitting right next to him. Y'all know they on some foul play shit. Well, I think I can skip through this. Let's see where we at.
Mr. Chairman, I was here earlier. Again, having served with you and our other witnesses, thank you for your service. Mr. Yo, like you and I, we've had debates with our opponents in the past, and I always think that's good. But I have a line that I like to use when I think a person on the other side is straying from the facts. I say you're entitled to your own opinion, but you're not entitled to your own your own facts. And now that I guess we have alternative facts, it doesn't matter. But I want to talk about this part of this discussion deals with oversight. And Article 1 of the Constitution gives not only us the purse strings, part of the purse string, but oversight. And I must say in 20 years that I've been around here, I don't think that we do oversight as well as we should. And I have a real problem with this whole issue of hiring someone, or he's not hired, but to take over the role of what is this committee's jurisdiction and every other committee in Congress to do proper oversight, and then point the finger somewhere else, I think is an abdication of our role. Not only here in this effort, but also in advise and consent over in the Senate. But let's talk about the USAID freeze that, and I'm trying to understand where this administration is now coming with their policy and what I think is an illegal dismantling of the USAID, because
this motherfucker mad. He ain't getting no check. He's sad as hell. He mad he there. These people pissed off.
we can make changes, we can make modifications as we discussed earlier this morning, and we should. And this administration should put its imprimatur on its own foreign policy, as every administration does, whether I agree or not. But the oversight is our responsibility, not the executive branches. So let me ask you, in terms of China, which is our
Are you really the last person to find
Here
out
we go
about
with
the
that
skip out
China
scrubber
shit
button?
again.
This is Pi, and if it sounds familiar to you, it's probably because you've seen their
Now I want y'all to
This was all over the place.
Pay very close to people that keep bringing up China and how good China is. Then the motherfuckers that be embedded with China. I promise you, they telling them themselves. If you hear them talk good and uppity about China and how good China is and how good they are, yeah, 9 times out of 10 they working with the motherfuckers. Just saying.
Mr. Natasio, do you think the actions on the USAID freeze operations help us counter China and Russia?
I've said earlier that I believe our aid missions are one of our greatest strengths because they're in the country and 2/3 of them are from the country. The Chinese do not have an aid system. They're in the field. They have highly centralized system. Everything's done in Beijing. They have no oversight over their programs.
So
None.
basically, it's used as a tool, USAID, to project U.S. smart power, soft power, whatever you want to call it, and our influence abroad, right?
That's right.
It's not altruistic. It's in our national interest, right?
Sounds like
That's
they
right.
ain't
Oh,
vetted.
and by the way, it benefits American farmers by a tune of about $2 billion, right, in purchase of American agricultural
Yeah,
products, right?
China
That
is
is
buying
correct.
more
In
American
farm country,
farmland
and I
than
represent a
any other
significant
country
farm
right
district.
now. Okay.
I want to focus on Ukraine for a moment. USA allocated
talk
over
about
$30 billion.
facts.
The fund supported projects to stabilize the energy grid, as mentioned earlier, government efficiency programs, civil society groups. These efforts have bolstered and strengthened Ukrainian society in the last 3 years, especially, and the resolve to fight back against Russian aggression. Russia, Mr. Yoho, is our adversary. Would you not agree?
Agreed.
And so for those who claim over the past 2 years to care about oversight on how the money is spent on USAID staff, how do you think these investments in civil society and development-based projects have helped to bolster Ukraine's fight against the Russian invasion, the hostile invasion?
You know, there is a need on the humanitarian side with the food programs and things like that, health, medical, those kind of things. But I question the role of NATO. You know, why is NATO not there stronger than we
Well,
are?
I'll give you some numbers, and we can do that offside, but really, when you add the EU support and NATO support, it's pretty close to what we've done when you look at the totality of the numbers. Let me go to another place, Armenia, that I've worked with over the years. USAID's played a significant role in helping. Armenia's wanting to turn to the West. Russia has abdicated its role under the treaty and sided with Azerbaijan. Mr. Natsisil, were you involved with the work for Armenia? They found out from Yoho, care to comment about the precarious position they're in right now?
Huge, but the stable end. Uh,
It's
so
not now.
Agreement agree is I think we each of you have seen their many of the programs that were talked about here, and some of them did turn out to be State Department. So let's assume for a moment that we're really talking about state and bank, maybe a lot of places that disperse our funds have been more oversight so we don't have each administration coming in and saying, halt, we need to look at this? And wouldn't it have been better if, before we got to this point, Congress had been more aware sooner of the need for the kinds of changes we're hearing about here today?
I have to agree 100% with you. You can get it report after report
Damn.
after report, but if you do not act on it,
I'm
the report's
back.
worthless.
Okay. I want to thank all of you. And again, thank my colleague from New York and yield back.
Thank you, Representative Issa. Chair now recognizes Representative Lawler.
Thank you, Chairman. How many of you use some form of online banking and get email notices for your credit card statements? Have you ever had the moment where you get the email notice, you open it, you look and go, oh my God, what did I spend this month? And then you go, you see the itemization, you go, oh wow, I didn't realize that. That's what's happening here. Very simply. You types of diseases. Unfortunately, as we peel back the onion here, we're finding more and more dollars of taxpayer money are being misappropriated. And so what Secretary Rubio has done by putting a 90-day freeze in place,
Sure is. Get their
per
ass.
President Trump's executive orders, is to have a comprehensive review. Now, during that review, they have granted a waiver for life-saving treatment and care and humanitarian assistance, inclusive of PEP. That's what they should do. Now, some of my Democratic colleagues will say, under what authority are they doing this? Well, Section 7063 of the 2024 appropriations gave the Secretary the authority to do this. And I would remind my colleagues that under the Clinton administration, Madeleine Albright tried to bring USAID under the control of the State Department. So this is not some new concept. And certainly, USAID wouldn't have been in the crosshair. The order issued by the Secretary of State. Instead, they thought judgment should be substituted, and that, in fact, they, as bureaucrats, unelected, have more authority than the elected president, Congress, or the confirmed Secretary of State. Now, when it comes to oversight, we had Samantha Powell in here. There were numerous questions. We asked her for information. And as is often the case, when Congress, as a co-equal branch, asks for information, the executive tries to stymie that.
Yep.
And because it was a Republican-controlled House, the Democratic White House, and Democrat-controlled USAID did not want to cooperate with these investigations and requests for legitimate information. And so, frankly, in 3 to 4 weeks, DOJ has gotten more information than Congress ever could operate. And for those saying there's no transparency here, how is it not true? Now, one of the things we've uncovered is the fact that a congressionally appropriated fund, the Nita Lowey Middle East Partnership for Peace Act, and Nita Lowey being one of my predecessors, a $250 million fund controlled by USAID. $1 million to tomorrow's youth. And the head of that, anti-Israeli songs as part of this.
They exposing their ass. Ooh, they hate to hear the truth.
Tax Act.
They hate it. They hate to hear the truth. They run away from it. They can't face it.
Dollars to
They
promote
deny it.
anti-Semitic
Criminal activities that need to stop.
I would add that any institution, university or otherwise, that is engaged in anti-Semitic behavior or stopped it on their campuses should be disqualified from getting any kind of foreign aid.
I agree too.
Well, that's what we're talking about, and that's what we're dealing with. And for those saying, where is Congress? We're here. We're having this hearing. We're providing this oversight. That is our role, but it is the role of the executive to manage the agencies and departments, and that is exactly what they are doing. And frankly, they have provided more information to Congress in the last few weeks than Congress ever got under the Biden administration. And the Biden administration is the one that approved that $3 million to go to an anti-Semitic rap artist to promote Jewish hatred. That is what we're talking about. That is why the 90-day pause was put in place. And that is why this nonsense needs to end. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Good points.
Thank you, Representative Lawler. Representative Jackson was hoping, he was
Grilled
advocating for
him.
you to get another 5 to 10 minutes. But I told him we have to move on to Representative McCann recognized.
Damn.
And I appreciate the hearing that we're having today because it relates to some of the biggest. We have an economic crisis in this country. Millions of Americans are still struggling to make ends meet. We have $36 trillion of debt. We have a $1.8 trillion deficit. And so it is incumbent upon us as members of Congress to scrutinize every tax dollar that is spent. So I'm a little surprised when some of our colleagues here today want to diminish the fact that we are talking about $40 billion. It's still $40 billion of taxpayer money that we are talking about. And so USAID does provide, in some cases, very good services that advance our interests around the world and help others. And that's something that we want to maybe continue, but that should come before Congress. At the same time, we have seen illegal immigration devastate our country. That is the other big challenge that I believe our country is facing. We have took their executive powers and used them to not build a border wall. There were funds that were appropriated through Congress to build a border wall. I know Mexican cartels were bringing in weapons and human trafficking and drugs right across our border, and there was nothing being done about it. So those are two of the biggest challenges that we face. We've heard about the absolute waste that is going on in USAID today. Total waste of taxpayer dollars, adding to our debt and to our deficit. At the same time, we have seen USAID has actually made some kind of attempt to stem illegal immigration, but it seems to have totally failed. And so I want to bring up in 2021, USAID announced Central America Local, a 5-year, $300 million initiative to pay local organizations in El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras to address this initiative did not require training of staff to detect and reduce fraud risks because USAID did not actually regulate the training of agency-wide individuals. So we have money that is going to this cause. At the same time, we have people who in this chamber still want to fight us on building a border wall and border security. In fact, many of the members that were part of the longest shutdown in US government history over a border wall are still here. And we still hear about them saying that they may potentially shut down the government. So I would like to ask the members of our panel today if they have thoughts on, is the USAID stem the root causes of migration the right way to go, or is building a border wall the right way to go?
I've written on this, and if we spend no matter how much, has absolutely no impact on migration. It's having a firmly sealed, enclosed border. That's what the solution is.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that response, and I agree with you. And so I look forward to, as we move through this Congress, providing funding for our country. And also, I look forward to scrutinizing every single dollar of the billions that are going out through USAID for absolute waste and programs which are not effective or efficient of Congress. But the reason that we are having this hearing today is because
Tax Act has live experts on hand, so you don't have to worry about all the ins and outs of the tax code.
to provide for our American citizens safety, security, actually protecting and spending taxpayer dollars in an efficient and effective fashion, not putting our children and that, and we are going to do that this Congress and with this administration. So with that, I will yield back my time to the chairman, but I want to thank all of our panelists and everybody for today's hearing.
Thank the representative from Pennsylvania. Now going to recognize Representative Jackson for any closing remarks that you may have.
I'd like to thank you so much, Chairman Mast. On behalf of Ranking Member Meeks, I'd like to say very much thank you for the time that you all have spent with us today, your candidness, your forthright, and the amount of time and sacrifice that you've made in not making your bodies more comfortable earlier in the program. So continued success, and I know we have many things in common. We will have continued success together, and we're going to continue to work for the best outcome for our nation, our great people. With that, I yield back, Chairman Mast. Great to work alongside you, sir.
Thank you, Representative Jackson. I also thank the witnesses for their testimony on this important topic today. I have no doubt that we'll be speaking on this further. President Trump, in my opinion, is absolutely making America immeasurably stronger by gutting USAID and gutting the State Department forthcoming. He is making it clear that there is no more stupid social engineering programs that will continue. No more comic books for $50,000 or $50,000 trans operas. No more $800,000 job fairs in Bangladesh for trans individuals, specifically in a country where the average monthly wage is $220. These things come to an end. Asking the questions, are Americans better because that dollar came out of their pocket and went to these programs or not? That is a bar that we have to hold ourselves to. Should somebody working today have kept those dollars in their pocket instead of sending their dollars to programs like those? There's not a more important question that we could ask. Are President Trump and Secretary Rubio and Elon Musk and his team, are they eliminating waste? Absolutely yes. Are they making the system accountable where the buck stops with Secretary Rubio? Yes. Secretary Rubio is in fact encouraging important life-saving programs to continue. America is significantly stronger. Every minute the wasteful programs are ended and they are allowed to continue. We gave the Biden administration and my Democrat colleagues the chance to work on oversight. One easy example that I worked on personally would be the expansion of atheism in Nepal with $500,000 grants. My colleagues played the game, admit nothing, even with all of the documents laid
Right in
directly in
front
front
of
of
them.
them. That's
Yep.
what took place. We tried. They wouldn't do it. I know Americans are not stupid. They know there is no value for them in a $100,000 DEI survey in Ghana. They know that there's not value for them spending $520 million to pay ESG consultants to teach people in Africa about climate change. Also, what is extremely telling to all of us is the amount of grant recipients who are not asking for waivers. They know that the gig is up and do not even want to try and justify what it is that they had been doing, the way that they were grifting off of Americans who are going to work each and every day. What is not surprising is that my colleagues have tried to lie to American people, saying that people are dying. We've heard that argument before, that there was an elderly lady in Thailand who died because they couldn't get her the oxygen she needed because America cut off aid. Let's tell the truth about what real International Rescue Committee, known as IRC, their CEO, David Miliband, has a salary of about $1.2 million a year. That is the theft, the larceny that's going on at USAID, where the grants, well, even possibly life-saving grants, are paying for high salaries for former British members of parliament. Parts of PEPFAR have been approved for waiver because it provides life-saving medication to people who need it.
Exposed.
Certainly not the abortions they were conducting, but that took secretary reviewing the BS that was going on and correcting it. Combating the spread of Ebola has been approved for waiver because it's life-saving. World Food Program aid in Haiti for waiver because it's life-saving. What hasn't been approved is the waste, the grift, and the larceny. Now, despite the arguments that we've had today, we do agree that aid can be effective and that aid can advance America's interests. But the countries that receive aid will not receive it if they are taking the United States of America and its people for granted. And it will be life-saving aid, period, not social engineering. In that, I will ask that members of the committee have if they have additional questions for the witnesses, that you do respond in writing. Pursuant to committee rules, all members may have 5 days to submit those statements and questions for the record, subject to the length limitations. Without objection, the committee stands adjourned.
Mr. Chair, can I say one comment? I'll do that. Thank you.
Now you want to ask to speak? No, nigga, it's too late now. Saying that shit when y'all. No more. Those times are over, buddy. As you can see, they not playing with their ass. Who's next to know what's gonna go on with the fucking USAID, DEI hire, all this extra other shit. All of it gotta be checked. All of it gotta be looked into. Shit, if it's unnecessary, it gotta go. And you know what else? I think all taxpayers should get their money back. Me personally. But that's a whole nother conversation. Now I saw, I did what I was supposed to do. I'm your humble host, Mr. Mass. That's all I got for you. Peace out. Until the next one. Oh yeah, like, comment, subscribe, all that in a bag of chips.
Welcome to the show, it's Mr. Masked TV. Serving all the drama just the way it should be. Stars and news making headlines daily. Turn up the volume, let's span it through globally. Entertainment drama, it's all in our queue. Celebrities and headlines coming straight to you. Stay tuned, stay bright, we got the newest scoop. Mr. Masked TV.